What's going on? This is episode 2 in Breaking into the Field. Today I am with...
My name is Arion O's. I am a TCNJ photographer. I'm a junior right now, visual arts major with a specialization in photo and video. In terms of photography here, I am the creative director for TCNJ football. I'm a freelance photographer for the athletic department, and I am newly employed as the TCNJ men's swim team photographer.
Gotcha. So, to begin, what made you get into photography?
I like to believe, I know it sounds wild, but I like to believe that runs in my blood because my grandpa and my dad both were heavily involved in photography, and they had their cameras that have lasted the test of time. And I have my grandpa's cameras, I have my dad's cameras, and they've shown me the photos that they've had. And I grew up around my dad's printed out photos on our walls, and I never even knew they were actually taken by him until he told me, like, when I think I was like 12 or 13, when I was like finally old enough to like understand photography fully. And so I've just always had a passion for it ever since I was a little kid. And like we would go on vacation, and I would only be interested in just taking photos of whatever was around us, and taking photos of like the shorelines or the sand or the rocks or the plants or anything. And from that point on, I just knew like I wanted to pursue photography whenever I had the ability to. And then when my birthday came around, I think I was turning 16 or 17, and I asked my dad for a Rebel T7, and then that's where it started.
Okay, so you've been doing it for a long time then, you would say.
4 years, I think.
4 years? Okay.
I started 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I started my senior year in high school. I'm a junior in college now, so 3.
gotcha. So with your background, you used to be a football player, then you go into creatives more into it. And so with being a student, now a bodybuilder, and creative director / freelancer, how do you balance your schedule around?
It's really hectic, honestly. I think last year it wasn't that hard, but this year with the ramping up of school that comes with my junior year in college and all the graduation prep that's about to start happening, I don't know how I'm keeping up. I don't know, like I'm burnt out, but I'm just still dragging along, and I'm still just pumping out photos. And the only thing that's really been helping me, I'd say the best help has probably just been Google Calendar. Like, it was something that I didn't use for way too long. I didn't use it at all last year. I didn't use it much this year until I woke up and it was a Saturday morning. And I thought we had nothing to do. And I'm at the dining hall, and I get a call from my boss. He's like, "Are you coming to the swim media day?" I'm like, "What? What swim media day?" And it's 9 a.m. and I got food on my fork. And he's like, "Yeah, we scheduled you for swim media day. You have 2 straight media days, men's swim and women's swim." I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
from that point on, I started scheduling absolutely everything.
Yeah, you got to. I've been making a Google Docs of just like a whole like monthly calendar thing, and they tell me like 2 months in advance, like, "Oh, can you come in December for this and that?" And I'm like, "Sure." I mean, I don't have anything planned, so you just got to make sure you have a schedule and you follow that schedule. But
Yeah.
one question I have is, what's been your recent favorite event you've shot, and what's your favorite all-time event or game?
Favorite, this might be just the same thing because this is pretty recent, but when I shot a wedding, my first wedding, it was magical. Absolutely magical. And I was so nervous going into it, and the way I even came about it was just so coincidental because I just posted on my story. I was like, "You know what? I'm just going to throw a shot into the wind." And I posted on my story. I was like, "I really want to shoot a wedding. Is anyone down to have me as their second shooter?" Someone swiped up. And then I ended up with a wedding planned. And this was June 20th. I'm pretty sure it was a wedding. I'm always going to remember that date because I put so much thought into it, and it was magical because it went almost exactly how it planned. And for my first wedding to go exactly how it planned, that was
crazy.
unbelievable for me. I was in awe, genuinely in awe, because I didn't know how immersive photographers become in a wedding space, how you become a part of the celebration, and how you really bring the energy also in the mornings, like coming, like I was pulling up to the house when they were getting out of bed.
Yeah.
And I was walking through my shots when they were brushing their teeth and getting ready, and then when they were just now getting ready, I'm there and I have the energy and I'm hype and I'm hyping up the groomsmen and I'm taking their portraits and everything, and I didn't know how much fun it was gonna be.
Yeah, you have to be a hype man. It's like
Yeah.
a no go, or like you got to be there or you
Yeah,
don't. You
like you
know.
really can't be. You obviously can be like a pretty quiet and passive photographer to shoot weddings, but it's a really good place to just unwind and really
Yeah.
let your personality as a photographer roam free, especially taking portraits.
Yeah. Were you overwhelmed, or did you get any stress while shooting the wedding, or like what is it like being a wedding
Honestly,
photographer?
I was in a group. I was in like a team of 3 photographers. I love them so much. They're the best photographers ever, like the best group to work with. But they were really, really nervous, and I felt like fine.
Was it
Honestly,
their first time too, or?
it was all of our first
Oh,
times.
really? That's
And they were
awesome.
like we were talking the day before, and they talked about how they had imposter syndrome, but I felt like ready, like more ready than I've probably ever been, and I felt some pretty bad imposter syndrome before, so I
Yeah.
know exactly what it feels like. But I felt just fine. Like even during the ceremony when tension is at its highest and you got to get everything right, I was moving like like the flow state.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I get into like a flow state in photography, especially like shooting events and the way I move around the events
Yeah.
and just keeping quiet and getting the shots that I need and just getting doing whatever I need to do to get the shot is really, I don't know. I think the pressure made it easier for me. That's
Yeah.
just how I am. Like that's how I was when I played sports when I was little. I would perform better under pressure, and in photography, I perform better under pressure.
Gotcha. So you were talking about the flow state and imposter syndrome. I'll first talk about the flow state. Whenever you shoot games and stuff, it just, for me, whenever I shoot, I just start seeing these things that I'm like thinking in my head, and then it literally comes to life, and it's like
Yeah.
my flow state, and it's just so cool to feel that in real time. And then once when you go to editing, it's like you made these shots with going into it. And what is your flow state like?
I think my flow state, I need to get a viewfinder recorder and then also record audio because I wanna record what I say during like while I shoot sports because
Uh-huh.
I will, since I know this team and I was a player on this team, I know the defense. I played on this defense. I know the offense because I've been to the practices, I've watched the games, I've also been in the team meetings and everything. And so I will know, like, based on the formation, especially defensively, which player is probably going to make a play, which player is going to blitz, which player is going to be in coverage, which player is going to be one-on-one. And I like to call it out, like, oh, I think this player is going to do this, and sometimes take a gamble and lock on a player before the play, especially with my 300. I'm not seeing anything else but that player.
Right.
And if I lock on that player and they make a big play, which has happened multiple times, then that's really what gets it kicking. It's like in basketball, when you make a three or you make like a really good contested shot and you just get that adrenaline that just steadily flowing through you, that's what gets that started for me.
Yeah.
Just making a really good prediction and that prediction just running true and me getting exactly the shot that I envisioned from it,
Yeah.
that's what kickstarts it.
Yeah, prediction and anticipation is big things in photography. You mentioned imposter syndrome. How often do you face imposter syndrome?
I think imposter syndrome for me is a thing of the past
Okay.
because I think once I got really immersed in photography here at TCNJ, then it went away because I monopolized photography at TCNJ, especially last year. This year there are a lot more people doing it, but I'm the only one that's really getting paid for all of the shoots. There's a lot of freelance photographers that come and do shoots for free, but there's also some more photographers on the staff that will actually get paid and do shoots because I guess a lot of people didn't know that you could do that here at TCNJ.
Yeah.
Because last year I was the main photographer, and I guess no one else really was like, oh, wait, we can just email the athletic department and get paid to take photos.
Yeah.
But I think after I started just opening up my scope of shooting and expanding my skill set, then the imposter syndrome just went away because my confidence went up.
Gotcha.
And I started going into every shoot just confident that I could create something, just knowing like I can make something out of nothing. I always tell myself that, and I believe it through and through. I had an argument with my video teacher because she was like, "Oh, this documentary project is a little too much for just 2 weeks." I'm like, I'll be fine. Regardless, I can make something out of nothing, and I'm really just adamant on that.
I feel like students just have so much free time, I feel like you might as well use it for something that you love to do.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I mean, imposter syndrome, I feel like I get it all the time. Like sometimes it comes, sometimes it goes. And it's crazy because whenever I go on Instagram and I see someone's work that I like and drop a follow, I never expect in return to get a follow back. And then maybe an hour or two later, I see a follow and I'm like, whoa, where did this come from? And
Yeah.
I feel like I don't deserve to follow because I don't see myself as that high when other people tell me like, oh, your work's great and stuff like that. So I'm always a little judgmental on myself and hard on myself. But I feel like I'm more confident now than I was before. And talking about more photographers coming into it, I recently just had a freshman follow my page and I just saw his post for FDU. So it's cool seeing more people, especially like D3, coming and shooting more sports. Because last year when I shot for FDU, it was me and this woman, her name's Misheri, and she does everything, I believe, volunteer. So she does all the athletics pretty much as she can. So she's really great. And she's taken me under her wing, and she's actually the one that told me to get the 300. Because I was on the edge of getting the 300 millimeter, and I was like, what is the pros and the cons? And she's like, the pros is that it's a lot of money, but it's worth it because I was mentioning to her that I feel like my 70 to 200 is not far enough. And after shooting on it for a year, it's just like, I want to try something different. Mm-hmm. And she said, you can always return it because with B&H, they have a 30-day return fee, no question asked, and you just get your money back. So that's the route that I went, and I didn't return it because I just loved it. So, yeah. But with more photographers coming at TCNJ, you started the photography club, right?
Yes, that has been going amazingly. I think it was almost a month ago now we got officiated as a club because our first couple meetings we had so many people we overflowed the classroom.
Really?
Like, it was a classroom same size as this, filled up every single seat, and it was just standing room in the corner over there.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was phenomenal, and they were all just watching the presentation. I was giving, I'm pretty sure it was, I was talking about, what was it? Light painting. It was long exposure and light painting. And we had a bunch of people trying it out, and I think it was that meeting that got us like legitimized in a sense, because they realized like, wow, this is how many people are really interested in photography. Yeah. And so we logged how many people were there, and then we brought it up to the student gov. Mm-hmm. And then we had 2 meetings, and we had to literally vouch for ourselves instead of in front of the whole entirety of the student gov, which is like,
really?
I don't know how many people. It's probably 40, 50 people.
Wow. And
we had to give a presentation in front of that, and we got accepted as a club, and ever since we've just been trying to expand our meetings. I know literally tomorrow, we're going into the lighting studio, and we're going to do a full portrait workshop. We have a model, we have all the lights we can dream for in there.
You guys use strobes, or what do you guys?
We're gonna use strobes. If someone wants solid lights, we have those, but I'm definitely a strobe guy. Gotcha. Especially from all the media days, I'm at the point where after a year of just the consistent side by side and then back, like what is it called?
Softbox or
not a softbox? Yeah, a backlight. Mm-hmm. Like blowing up the backdrop. I want something more just creative. So I want to start working with that, and I want to use this photography club activity to begin that.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, I feel like you do a really good job sharing your work. I mean, on Instagram, you always do your like cropping, and then you do like all these little edits and stuff like that. And I think one of my favorites is always seeing the behind the scenes and how you do the pictures. I think one of my favorite recent photos that you done was when you went with football players in the field. Yeah. It was literally just like golden hour, and you got like some really nice pictures. So.
That was just improvisation, because we went into that with zero idea, like zero plan. I pulled up to the locker room, and I texted the guys. I said, I'm outside. I don't really have an idea, but just come out to the car when you guys are ready. And then they came out to the car, not only with an extra player, but they also had an idea of like tall grass and thinking that that would look pretty nice. And so we were in the car, and I was just thinking, like, where has tall grass? I had directions set to just a random farm, just because on Google Maps it clearly had just open land. And so we planned on just trespassing this guy's farm. And we pull up, we park on the side of the road, and we look at the farm, and it's all trimmed.
Oh,
So we already cut it all, and we're like, no, like, there's no way, like, I don't know where else to go. And then we look across the street, and it's just uncharted lands. And just long grass, just completely untouched. And then we knew that was it. And then we just ventured deep into there, took the shots that we needed, and it came out so much better than I ever thought it would.
Nice. Well, for back to sports, what is your favorite season and sport to shoot?
For a while, I thought it was football, but that might be changing. I think it is track.
Really?
Track is just, you get so much freedom.
Yeah.
In terms of not only facial expressions and emotion, because these runners are pushing themselves to the brink of passing out sometimes. So you get the most extreme of conditions from them, but also just the freedom to move around, because a track is a free, like, you can move anywhere as long as you're not impeding a race pretty much. So you just get so much, just, it's like playing a game in creative mode. You can just do literally whatever you want, go wherever you want, and it's just, there's endless possibility.
Yeah, I was just talking to a Rutgers creative named Kono. I was saying it's so hard to be creative during the game, but when you're in pregame, it's like free reign. Like, you can be as creative as you want. And with track and field, there's so many activities going on where, like you said, it's free roam. You just got to be careful where you go, because you might run into the race or something like that. But I feel like definitely with track and field, you have so much options to be creative in your work. So with seasons, how would you rank seasons for fall, winter, spring, and then the sports with that?
Spring first, 100%, because the weather in the spring and the way the trees, just the colors, so good. I will take spring colors over fall colors 110%.
Really?
Because pink trees, I'm taking pink trees over orange trees.
Right.
Always, because they look so beautiful in the back of my shots. I would say spring, summer, fall, winter. Summer, just because I like the weather, not so much for wedding season.
Yeah.
That's when I make the most money. That's when I have the possibility of making the most money. Spring, 1 for the weather, 2 for the sports, because I've grown to really, really love shooting lacrosse, especially like women's lacrosse here. Our men's lacrosse team, they only play at night, and I hate shooting under the lights.
Really? They only play at night?
Yes, I hate shooting under the lights.
Yeah,
our lights are just so dark. I despise having a really dark backdrop for my action shots. A really dark background. It doesn't really look nice. But spring lacrosse is definitely my driving factor for that. Baseball and softball, I don't. Well, softball's pretty entertaining, but baseball, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And then summer for the weddings and the weather. Fall would be next, definitely for football. And field hockey every once in a while is nice, but I can't shoot a lot of games of that because it is a little repetitive.
Do you guys have a volleyball team? No.
Unfortunately not. But that is next on our slate of adding teams. We have everything in place. We just need to move the club team up to the real team and just work from there.
Do you have you shot volleyball, or do you like shooting volleyball?
I've never shot volleyball before, but I think it would be really fun because I have a lot of fun shooting basketball. Volleyball is in a basketball court. It's the same setting. I think I can have a lot of fun.
So with my Rutgers internship, I can only shoot Olympic sports, so I can't shoot their football.
What?
Because it's a whole different media department. So I learned that I really enjoy shooting volleyball because it's just fast-paced. Celebrations all the time, every point. What are some struggles that you face as being a creative so far?
One of the most recent struggles I've been facing is low light. I want to find one size fits all sort of fix for low light, and I've just been experimenting, and I'm yet to find that fix because I don't have my MacBook. This can't even run Lightroom.
Really?
I can't pull up Lightroom on this. I can't use AI denoise. I don't have access to that. So I've been really struggling with low light because the past few weeks I've been asked to go shoot some soccer senior night at my old high school, and they have really dim lights. It's pretty dark. And then they booked me for this Thursday. Same thing, boys soccer senior night, and it's super dark. And then the last two football games of the season are night games. Still really dark, so I got to find a fix soon. But I don't know. I think other people are pretty satisfied with my low light photos, but I'm not. I think because of how good my photos look when I have ISO maybe like 100, 200, it looks so good. I feel like I'm missing out when I have a high ISO and I'm missing out on so much detail. It's just really, it irks me.
For people that are just starting out with low light, what is your settings that you usually have for?
So for a while, I would do just auto ISO, which
Okay.
was kind of crazy because I was just trusting my R5 Mark II's low light capabilities and it was serving me well for a while. But at some point, I was like, okay, I need to fix this grain issue because I would just have the grain and I just deal with it. But now I wanna make them a lot more crisp because I wanna level up all of my work in all facets. So my settings, I would usually cap my ISO out around 3200. I wouldn't usually go up over 3200. Like I shot a low light birthday party last night. My ISO, it didn't really go above 3200. It stayed between 1600 and 3200. Especially for indoor, you don't really need to go above that. Yeah, you can see more in your camera, but when you look at it afterwards, it's going to be just even more grainy. I would much rather prefer a little bit just a dim image of what I'm seeing in my LCD and just knowing that I can brighten it up in post and just doing that in post, because upping the exposure slider a little bit is going to be so much more beneficial than upping your ISO in the shoot.
For me, recently I've realized that 4,000 is the above limit. I can't go any more above 4,000. So anything below that, and then usually I try to stick between 600 shutter and 1,000 shutter, depending on what settings I need to do, and then obviously lowest aperture 2.8. So, but yeah, no, it's always interesting because sometimes I see photographers and their settings are like very underexposed, and they do it in post and they try to do it, but it doesn't work the same because the ISO is very, very low compared to what it should be. So, but do you have any advice for people just starting out?
One thing I'm really adamant on, especially on like TikTok, and I'll post videos talking about this all the time. Charge for especially if someone asks you to take photos, charge them. If someone is asking you for a service, you need to charge them. Like even if you're not that good, if someone is asking you to do something for them, you need something in return.
Yeah.
And that's just how the transaction should work. Just throughout life, like that's how that stuff works. You don't really do something without something in return unless it's just out of kindness. And if they're asking you to do it, then you're not really doing it out of kindness. You're doing it because they asked you. And that's honestly what I tell a lot of beginners. Like even it really doesn't matter where your skill set is. Obviously, practice and shoot for a hobby, but you can make some money from your hobby. And a lot of people say, it really irks me when beginner photographers say this, but they say, I don't want to charge for my photos because I don't want to turn my hobby into a job. Or you can just love your job. Exactly. Like that, I just love my job, and it's not that complicated. That's how I see it. I never saw like this as, oh, I'm making my hobby into a job. Now it's so much more cumbersome. I love the fact that I'm swamped in photography because I love photography. Right. And if you don't really love photography, then you don't have to make it your job. Exactly. You can just keep it as a hobby, and you can still just get a little money from that.
Exactly. It could be a side hustle, It doesn't have to be your full time. I mean, it's different. I mean, at least for me, because I want it to be my full time. So with my internship, I'm constantly saying yes. Even if it's a 50-minute drive, I'm going to make the drive because I want to do it. And I want to show people that I'm serious about it and I want to pursue it. Mm-hmm. So I'll give advice to beginners of just taking your time. It's a practice. It takes time. There's going to be a lot of no's. There'll be a yes eventually, but you just got to wait for your turn to come.
I actually have another thing I would say to beginners, but it's not really sports photography, but it pertains to sports photography because it builds your skill set so much. Practice street photography. Okay. It is one of the most important things that helped me build my creative eye in terms of seeing light and seeing the compositional components that create a compelling a compelling image. Like just training your eye to look for the minute details that you can pull out of something is really how you can shoot and set yourself up for a fun editing process in terms of going through and finding those things that you saw and magnifying them. Like that's really how I shoot. When I shoot football, I'm not really like, I'll not take a photo for an entire offensive drive if I don't see something compelling, if I don't see something interesting. Obviously, if it's like a 3 and out, like that makes sense.
Right.
But if they're driving down the field, obviously I'm going to be taking photos because they're actually doing something. But if they're not doing anything and it's like a 3 and out and I don't see anything, I'm probably not even going to take a photo for that whole drive. Mm-hmm. But if I see like a minute detail, maybe on defense, like this is something I see a lot. Like a defensive lineman chasing after a QB, and I just see a little bit of the white of the eye, and I just see something I can zoom in on. Like it's like those photos of a lion catching a gazelle.
Yeah.
And like the gazelle's like running for its life, and the lion just has the game face on. Yeah. It's that type of thing that's just universally recognizable that makes my finger go.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I would really push for beginner photographers to practice street photography so you can train your eye. Because street photography, if you go around and you really think and challenge yourself and think, what do I think looks nice here? You're going to think like, oh, this looks nice, and then you're going to narrow it down after a while. When you keep practicing, you're going to be like, oh, but I already got this. What's next? I already got this. What's next? And then when you continue to do that, that's how great photographers are made. Because they get the basic shots and they get so bored of the basic shots. They get the creative shots, they get bored of the creative shots, and they are forced to push themselves farther than that.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, or what is your like end goal with photography?
In 5 years, I like to just give it a toss up for where I'm gonna be like location wise after this, because I'm gonna go wherever pays me a living wage to take photos. Preferably Texas, because the sports industry there and the cost of living is pretty low. I know the politics is wild, but the cost of living is pretty low, and the sports industry there is booming.
Yeah,
it's
take
really booming.
Seriously.
Like Texas, Florida, California is where I would make the most money. And also for one of my classes, I was made to do research on the photography industry just nationwide, and where they make the most money. They make the most money in Texas, Florida, and California.
Really?
So that is preferably where I'd want to be in the next 5 years, shooting for a college football team. I would love to be creative director, because I got really lucky with having the role of creative director here at TCNJ, because it gives me that end to climb up the ladder in a sense and move from creative director here at TCNJ and not start off as a base photographer, but start off as a creative director maybe at a small D1 school, and then work my way up the ladder. So in 5 years, hopefully I'm creative director somewhere. I just want to stay as creative director wherever I am.
Do you have a dream school or dream team to shoot for? Dream
team? Well, either Oregon or Ohio State, just for how beautiful the setting is.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Washington State.
Washington State, okay.
Where, what was it? What's his name? Scott Bolt is where he used to shoot.
Okay.
And their colors, their uniforms, their burgundy on the jersey.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
They have nice colors.
But I think really just Ohio State and Oregon. That's everyone's top two.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of up there for me as well. Ohio.
But also Wisconsin. Because their
okay.
fan life is insane. Like they pack out their stadium, and I would love to be in that environment, just shoot a home game for them. I think it would be super just exhilarating.
Another school I think it's not that it's underrated, but I think Maryland is also really good.
Oh yeah.
Their athletics are pretty evenly spread. They have good rankings. I mean, I think their soccer team, their men's soccer is number 2 right now. And they have a good overall athletics, and I feel like their fan base is just really out there and rowdy. You know, they like to show up for their teams, and so that's another school I think that's underrated, especially in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's do some hot takes. If you could only have 3 lenses for the rest of your life, what would they be?
For the rest of my life, I might go 3 primes.
Really?
I might actually have to go 3 primes. I might go 385 and like an ultra wide, maybe 10 or 8.
Okay.
Just have the three extremes. I have really cropped,
Yep.
85 1.2, beautiful mid range, literally the god of portraits.
Yeah.
And then as wide as I can get so I can crop it.
Exactly.
And everyone loves a fisheye.
Yeah, who doesn't? I love the wide angles. So for me, I would probably do a 24 to 70, probably a 400, and then a 70 to 200, just to keep it simple. But recently, I've been thinking. There's a friend that I know at Penn State, and he was like, "You should get the 28 to 70, save up for it for the F2 instead, because it'll just make it more crisp." And then it got me thinking, what if I did like a 28 to 70, a 50 to 150, and then like a 300 or 400? Because ideally, with the two lens or three lens system, if you had a second body and you're shooting football, 70 to 200 is still kind of far. And if they're at the goal line, you could go instead of 70 to 50. And so you have more of a wider angle if they're up in your face and stuff like that. So
That I never really thought about that. Honestly, I'm kind of patiently waiting to get a second body so I can actually
yeah, no,
start
mine too. I
doing
only
that
have
better.
a one body right now, but there's all these hypotheticals in my head where it's just like, do I want to get? If I had to, I would want my dream lens would be 16 to 35, 28 to 70, 50 to 150, and then I'll keep my 300. So I have like a range. And then I feel like primes are also really good. I just haven't gotten my first prime yet, but I might take that on the 85.
Dude, the prime lenses, they are they're so important. Like when I got my Nifty 50, it was the first prime lens I got, and it was the second lens I ever got because I got my T7 kit lens, and then I got everyone gets a 75 to 300. It's like
Right.
mandatory, and then I realized that was garbage in low light. And I was like, what's good in low light? Oh, 50, 1.8. Oh my god! And then I got it, and I loved it, and that's what really got me into street photography because I was able to capture so much light. So I travel with it everywhere, and the close focus capabilities of these prime lenses is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like with my 300 prime, the detail shots that I can get is insane. Like
Yeah.
I've gotten so confident. Just if there's a team like timeout or huddle, I'm not grabbing my 70 to 200. I'm grabbing my 300 and I'm just sticking it in the middle and just hoping to see someone's eyes. And that's how I get my eye detail shots. Like people have asked me like, how do you get the detail shots of just the eyes all looking at you? It's because I stick my camera in the huddle.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Yo, what is he doing?" And then I snap the photo.
Yeah, I mean, you got like a big lens just looking in your direction. You're gonna go look towards that way. What would you rank camera companies?
In terms of how much I like their photos, Canon, because I love the colors.
The colors are unbeatable.
Sony and Fujifilm have to be tied
Okay.
because Sony just has such phenomenal autofocus and just such crisp images from the top of their line of like equipment.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, Fujifilm has just the most nostalgic colors
They
and
do.
the most lively images, and I think those things they go together,
They do.
and they put them on the same category for me. So it'll be Canon first, Sony and Fujifilm on the same thing. And then I'm yet to see Lumix photos that I really, really like. So Lumix got to be next. And then, is there another brand that I'm not thinking of that makes
Nikon.
bodies? Oh, yeah. Nikon. Nikon and then Lumix.
Okay.
I don't like Nikon photos. I'm just going to be straight up.
Really?
I think it's like they don't have the strengths that Sony or Canon has.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the newest Nikons, probably like I have no doubt in my mind those can function on par with any of the newest Sony or Canon, but Nikon just over the years, I'm not a fan. I don't know. I'm not a Nikon fan.
Do you like autofocus or manual focus better?
It really depends on the situation. Sometimes I genuinely do enjoy manual focus. Like if I'm in like a self-portrait sort of situation, manual focus all the way. I love that. Or if I'm just having anything that's not really moving fast, I'll love to explore manual focus and just practice my skill set, but overall autofocus. But whenever autofocus is failing me a little bit, like maybe I need to set up a still shot in low light where I can't really see anything, I'll definitely use manual focus.
Do you like quality over quantity or quantity over quality?
Quality over quantity, 100%. I'm really big on that, especially in my editing phase. When I'm taking up time to create the posts, like especially after football games, this is something that I've literally gotten into arguments with my girlfriend over this, because she's like, dude, you haven't eaten in this many hours and you're still just sitting there editing. I'm like, I just got to make the post. I just got to choose 20 good images. And I'm sifting through a sea of like 200, 300 shots, just looking for 20 good ones.
And that's the
20
hardest
good
part
ones.
too. And then finding the music too. I feel like I'm scrolling for like 10 minutes just trying to find the song that fits these pictures that describe what I'm shooting.
Yeah.
And it's always so funny because I've been thinking recently, like, I watch people and they cull like thousands of photos and they keep like less than 100. And I'm like, how do you decide which photos you want to keep and don't want to keep? Because when I see photos that I take, I think of like the athletes and how they want the photos of them. And even if it's just one picture of them, they would want to have it. So it's not like I would delete it just because maybe it wasn't a good shot, but at the same time, they would take anything. So at the same time, it's just like, do I keep it or do I not? But I would mind spending a minute just fixing it up for them if it makes them happy.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it, I understand that players will take absolutely anything that you give them.
Yeah.
And so with that, I cull based on what I would post. Like, would I like seeing this on my feed? Yes or no? If it's a no, if I wouldn't want that player to post that photo that I took, then I'm not going to call it. Because since I overshoot. I've been overshooting. Yeah. Oh, my God. I shot 5,000 photos for a football game 2 weeks ago. I don't know how.
It's that 4,000 shutter that you be doing.
Oh, I need to stop doing that. But when I'm culling down so hard, I really have to be that selective, also for storage sake, because I can't have 1,000 shots being added to my Pixie set because I'm paying for the storage. I don't want to use it up like that. So I really can only afford to keep the best of the best shots, and I think the guys also deserve only the best of the best shots.
Yeah. With Rutgers, I've been realizing I have like so many 1 terabyte drives. I'm starting to run out of storage, and for metadating and stuff like that, I realized you don't need to keep all your raws. When you have the content, I have not touched my raws since editing photos. So it's like I might as well just keep the JPEGs and get rid of the raws.
That's what I've been doing.
Really?
Like, I've been on a weekly cycle of I put the JPEGs in a safe place, and I just delete the raws. Weekly, I delete the raws.
Yeah, it's just so much storage.
Yeah.
It just takes it all. All right, last one. Does gear matter?
Yes, absolutely. There's situations where gear does not matter, like maybe street photography, whatever draws your eye. But in sports, you can't tell me someone with a kit lens next to someone with a 300 or 400 at an MLS or football game is like, gear matters 100%. If you want to be a professional, yes, gear matters. There's a reason these people are professionals, because they shot and they funded their gear by shooting, and then they use that gear to get better and become a professional. And there's lenses that you probably need to be a professional. Like, you need a long prime if you want to shoot soccer, if you want to shoot football, if you want to shoot baseball especially. You're going to need like at least maybe a 100, 300 at the longest. You need 300 millimeters. You're going to need a 70 or 200 if you want to shoot basketball. Well, actually, you can be really flexible with basketball.
Yeah.
I take that back because I've shot basketball with anything.
I feel like that's the go-to. I feel like that's what everybody does, the 70-200 for basketball.
I've experimented with 50 mil. I wanna rent an 85 this year and try it out for basketball. See if I want to actually buy it. I've used 24/70 is really fun to use for basketball. If you're focusing purely on like offense in the paint, 24/70 is wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm yet to use my 16 for basketball, but I want to try that. I think it will be fun. Also, I do plan on using my 300 at least once and just try it out.
I use it all the time for volleyball. It's really good indoors too. It's not just like for outdoor sports?
I've really been, because I've been thinking, like, is it? I feel like it's gonna be way too tight for the T. Sanjay gym in
It
basketball.
is, or it will be, but at the same time,
Detail
you can get
shots.
those really good detail
Yeah.
shots.
Like, I'm thinking, like, maybe I just keep it with me during a timeout. I switch it on and go and get just maybe those cool detail shots of the sweat going down the face. Those are amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's gonna do it. Thank you for coming, and that will be the end of episode 2 and breaking into the field.